Our story begins on King Kai's planet, which initially seems peaceful until suddenly the entire planet and surrounding area begins to shake without control, causing King Kai's home and belongings to start crumbling. We hear King Kai then shout out, "Goku, stop! I just got this planet back! Don't blow it up again! Please!" We then see the cause of all the ruckus, and it appears to be a Super Saiyan Goku who has been training on King Kai's planet as usual. Goku then responds, "Hey King Kai, why did you make me stop? I was just about to finish my warm-up. You wanna join or something?" King Kai, now angry, responds, "Warm-up? That was your warm-up? Goku, this is unacceptable. You can't train here anymore. The times when I was teaching you Kaioken and my little planet could handle your power is over now, Goku." Seriously, it still boggles my mind the young fellow who nearly exhausted himself trying to get here on Snake Way is now a Super Saiyan God. To think you died battling with Raditz to begin with, and now you're on par with even Beerus, the God of Destruction. You Saiyans are truly incredible. It's actually frightening to think what would have happened if Frieza never wiped out most of you. Goku, however, in the middle of King Kai's monologue, stops listening and thinks to himself, Raditz? Where have I heard that name before? It seems so familiar. Was he that green guy I fought at the Otherworld tournament? I wonder how he's doing. He was pretty strong. Help me out here, King Kai. King Kai is left almost speechless, astonished at Goku's bad memory, and responds, Are you pulling my leg, Goku? You're talking about Pikkon first of all, and Raditz. Raditz is your literal brother. How do you not remember him? He was how you first died, Goku. Back then, he was one of your strongest foes. Someone you couldn't beat without the help of Piccolo. Honestly, Goku, sometimes I do wonder if you ever think about your family that much. What does Chichi even think about you spending so much time training here? You haven't been home in 4 weeks. Goku, taking in King Kai's words, starts to think on his actions, responding, I guess Chichi is a little mad, but she's used to it. But hey, talking of family, I completely did forget I had an older brother. Wow, Raditz. He was so strong, you're right. Normally when I'm fighting someone really strong, I always manage to find some way to rise to the occasion and come out on top. But with him, I really was beaten. Without Piccolo, the Earth would have been done for. I have a great idea. I should go give Raditz a visit. I bet he's insanely strong by now. He is my older brother after all. He's probably miles ahead of me. Maybe he's gone past Super Saiyan 3. Maybe a Super Saiyan 4? Or 5? Whoa, imagine if he's stronger than Broly. I gotta go see this. See ya, King Kai. Goku! It doesn't work like that. Not every Saiyan is gonna become a monster like you and Vegeta. I was only joking about that. Besides, Raditz is in a locked part of hell. You aren't allowed to just enter there without permission. You're not even dead. It's one thing to secretly train here, but going somewhere like hell while you're alive will make King Yemma go crazy. Don't waste your time. If he's anything like you, he's probably forgot who you are too. Goku, however, smirks and as usual ignores King Kai's words completely and responds, Nah, no way. He's my older brother after all. I bet I'm on his mind all the time. And if he's anything like me, Goten or Gohan, I just know he's become incredibly strong after all these years. Don't worry, I'll be fast. I just want to have a little spar with him and then I'll go straight back to Earth. I promise. King Yemma won't know a thing. Right, so let me try and remember his energy. I got it. See you later, King Kai. And with that, Goku immediately uses his instant transmission to vanish. As the name suggests, instantly Goku teleports and arrives in a strange, eerie place. Mist and darkness covers every inch of the locale and hardly any figures can be seen. But suddenly, a bold, massive and familiar figure notices Goku and yells, Kakarot! This can't be! So you finally died and ended up in hell. You can't even imagine how long I've been looking forward to this day. I'll make sure you pay, Kakarot, for every bone you broke in my body. Goku, however, seems unfazed and politely replies, "Wow, hey, I'm not actually dead, I'm just visiting, but you're Vegeta's friend, aren't you? Sorry, I forgot your name, but you were the guy I first tested Kaioken on, right? That was great training, thank you. But sorry for going a bit overboard and paralyzing you and all that. I wasn't the best at controlling that ability back then. But hey, at least I didn't kill you. Listen though, I'm actually looking for my older brother Raditz. You guys used to hang out, right? Where is he?" Nappa, still infuriated, just stares at Kakarot, muttering, "Kakarot, you're going to pay. I don't care about your Kaio crap. I'm not stupid though. I know if Vegeta couldn't kill you back then, by now you're probably leagues above me still. But that little trick isn't going to work anymore. And definitely not on Raditz. I'm glad you want to see him. It'll be fitting for you to be annihilated by your own brother. You have no idea who you're messing with now. Raditz is the new king of the Saiyans, and you're going to die by his hands. A Saiyan never forgives. Lord Raditz, you have a visitor." A shadowy, intense figure then emerges from the darkness and mist. "Silence, Nappa. I'm aware he's come. Did you really think I wouldn't recognize my own brother's pitifully weak ki? Welcome, dear brother. How lovely of you to pay me a visit. 20 whole years later." Raditz is finally seen topless and looking stronger and bulkier than ever. In the middle of his chest, the scar from Piccolo's special beam cannon is still visible, almost like a permanent reminder of the hatred Raditz still bears for Kakarot all these years later. "So, what brings you here, dear brother? I don't seem to be able to see your little green friend. Don't tell me you actually came here alone to meet your demise. How's that little brat of yours? Not still crying, I hope? What would he think knowing you left his poor old uncle to rot in hell for all these years? What a terrible sibling you are, Kakarot." Nappa, joining in on the fun, looks at Raditz and continues, "Ha ha ha! How cold-hearted. I guess he was more sane than he let on, right, Raditz? Just be happy he wasn't as bad as that punk Princess Vegeta. I served that ungrateful brat since he was a little child. Years and years under his service, protecting him from everything. All just so he could kill me when I was defenseless. The coward. If only he were here too. Raditz, you could send him to the next dimension in seconds. There isn't a Saiyan alive stronger than you now." Goku is immediately intrigued by Nappa's words. "Whoa, what? Raditz, you're stronger than Vegeta now? Damn, I knew I was right about you. King Kai told me otherwise, but I know since you're my older brother, there's no way you'd stand around and not train to get stronger. Show me what you've got." Inside Goku's simple mind, he somehow believes Nappa and Raditz are aware of how far Vegeta's power has come so far. Raditz just stands initially confused at Goku's words, as well as at the mention of King Kai, who he's never heard of either. He responds, "I don't know what you're talking about, but life here in hell is a constant training simulation. Every second of every day I'm training, getting stronger and stronger, to the point I don't even believe any planet in the universe could even handle the kind of power at my fingertips now. You aren't ready, Kakarot, and the pain I inflict on you today will be even greater than last time. Let's just say, Kakarot, your brother has become a legend. A legend seen only once every 1,000 years. Prepare to be blown away and then blown to bits. Behold! The legendary warrior that only the Vegeta clan was supposed to possess. Watch in an instant as my power multiplies over and over to staggering heights. I, Raditz, am the legendary Super Saiyan! Immediately, Raditz begins powering up to his full power, his muscles bulging, veins popping out and his massive hair spiking even greater than before. His hair turns from black to blonde and his eyes from black to green. Exhausted from his massive transformation, he stares at Goku and smirks. "So, Kakarot, now do you understand the great mistake you made? Surely you've trained enough by now to sense the kind of power I have at my disposal now. A power not even Frieza could dare to match. Tell me, indulge me in your fear and awe. I haven't spoken to anyone but Nappa for decades. I want to take pleasure in your fear, dear brother. Beg for your life and bow down to me as your new king. And I may just choose to end your life quickly rather than slowly. Now, what say you, Kakarot?" Goku smiles, realizing he was right all along about Raditz. Kind of. He replies, "Wow, Raditz! That was an awesome transformation. I'm glad you've been training. But yeah, no need to warm up with me. Let's just go straight to God level or something. Or at least 3. Raditz's facial expression turns from smiling to completely confused. He responds, What? What do you mean, God, Kakarot? Go to 3? Are you losing your mind in your final moments before death? This is my full power. Be honored you got to witness such a legendary transformation." Immediately, Goku's face and feelings of confidence change. You're kidding, right? So you're just a Super Saiyan? After all these years? Really? This is going to get awkward, bro. In an instant, without any flashy moments, Goku too turns into a Super Saiyan. What? Huh? This can't be! Kakarot is also the legendary Super Saiyan? How could 2 come at the same time? It was said it could only be every 1,000 years. This has to be some trick. How can this clown match me? Goku, feeling sorry for Raditz, interrupts. Yeah, about that, Raditz. The Super Saiyan transformation isn't as special as what you guys thought it was. I don't know many people who aren't Super Saiyan anymore, but this is only the beginning, really. You can go one step further, too. This is called Super Saiyan 2. What? Immediately, Raditz's entire reality and understanding of his life begins to fall apart as he senses the insane energy increase coming from Goku's Super Saiyan 2 form. He can hardly string a sentence together, but mutters, "What is this? What's going on right now? Is this the true meaning of hell?" Goku just smiles with a cocky look and continues, "This is just the beginning, bro," and in an instant suddenly appears behind Raditz as a Super Saiyan 3. And this Raditz is called a Super Saiyan 3. It's not the most efficient form, but its power is insane. This one takes a long time to perfect. Years of training, but when it's complete, it's definitely worth it. You need to give it a try. Funny enough, I guess you could say we really look alike when I'm in this form. Slowly, with complete fear in his heart, Raditz turns around while his body remains paralyzed from the insane power Goku is emanating. This cannot be real! I'm dead already! But why does it feel like I could die again at any moment right now? Goku, unfazed, moves on to the next transformation in his arsenal, unsatisfied with what he's shown Raditz so far. He teleports back to his original position and then immediately goes into his God form. And this is something you can only achieve once you master divine energy. This is a Super Saiyan God. His ki vanished, but I can tell he's infinitely stronger than before. Why do I feel so insignificant in his presence? Kakarot is a God? Before Raditz can even collect his thoughts, Goku then transforms again to a Super Saiyan Blue. And I guess this will blow your mind, Raditz, but this is a Super Saiyan version of a Super Saiyan God, otherwise known as Super Saiyan Blue. I can go even higher than this and combine my Kaioken. But there's one more thing I want to show you. Something I only mastered recently with the help of an angel. As he says this, Goku then immediately reverts back to base form before a sudden surge of heat and power surges through his body while he closes his eyes and calms his mind. As he opens his eyes, Goku enters Mastered Ultra Instinct form, with his face now calm and his hair now white like the angels themselves. Raditz stares on the verge of passing out as he realizes the divine being that Kakarot has now become. Without any power being sensed or any sudden movement from Goku, Raditz knows the immense difference in power between the two, a gap that is simply incomprehensible to him. Goku stares at him in Mastered Ultra Instinct state and begins addressing Raditz saying, "And this is my pinnacle level. I haven't managed to surpass this state yet, and it's something far greater than any Super Saiyan transformation. Anyone can do this, Raditz. It's just something you need to work at. To achieve this, you must move without thinking, and be able to control your emotions when in shock. I can understand that this is all overwhelming for you, but you need to relax, calm your mind, and accept reality, big brother." Raditz, however, at this point can barely take in any of Goku's words, and slowly inches backwards subconsciously in fear and in awe of Goku's presence. Momentarily as he walks back, he trips suddenly, but in an instant, Goku catches Raditz by the hand. No! Initially, Raditz screams in fear as he senses a great beatdown coming, but then suddenly calms down as he looks down. Huh? Goku is seen shaking Raditz's hand and is powered back down to base. "Raditz, I'm proud to have you as my big brother. I'm sorry things turned out the way they did, but you're really strong, and I have no doubt now that I've shown you what's possible, you'll go away and achieve the same. Show me again one day what you can do, and let's have a real fight, one-on-one, and I promise I won't get help this time." Raditz remains silent, initially pondering on Goku's words, before smiling and responding, "You've grown strong, Kakarot. I'll look forward to when I see you again, my little brother." As the two have a heartwarming scene of brotherly love and acceptance, both are unaware that from afar they are secretly being watched by a mysterious duo. Standing above them on a nearby cliff, Bardock and Gine watch on. Gine is tearing up while Bardock maintains his cool, emotionless face. Gine begins, "Bardock, I can't believe it. Our boys have all grown up. I'm so proud of both of them." Bardock responds, "Yeah, they're both a chip off the old block. I think we did as best as we could to make sure they lived. But Raditz seems happy here, and Kakarot really did manage to survive even till now. You should be proud, Gine. You're an amazing mother that raised two great boys." Gine, still crying, then finally says, "You mean we did? I'm just so happy. I can't wait to hold them again." Bardock then replies, "Me too, Gine, me too. Now let's go down and say hello." Our story continues with Goku continuing to talk with Raditz after reconciling with him, still explaining the kinds of powers available to him as a Saiyan and what he can do to achieve them. He tells him, "Raditz, the key to transforming to higher and higher Super Saiyan states is finding some kind of thought that makes you angry, a memory or trauma, and using that rage to amplify the power already inside of you. Focus it, and then let it explode. You've seen my Super Saiyan God forms already, and I don't know exactly how he did it, but Vegeta was able to become a god just by watching me. So with your skill, I'm sure you can do it too." Raditz immediately responds shocked. "What? Vegeta is still alive too? So that explains why we never saw him down here. We just assumed he was so evil he wasn't allowed to even keep his body. We heard rumors of the evilest beings being forced to live trapped in nightmares forever. If only I could see him again and show him I wasn't as much of a weakling as he thought. But I suppose if he's anything like you, he'd be unimpressed too and make short work of me instantly. Goku, however, quickly corrects Raditz and reveals to him, No, Vegeta wouldn't even touch you. He's a completely different guy to who he was when he was with you. He has a whole family now. A wife, son, and even a little baby daughter. He's even softer than me now. I'll be sure to bring him here one day. I bet he'd love to see you. You two were squad mates with the big guy, right? Darn, I forgot his name again. Suddenly, Goku's face changes from happy and carefree to serious. But Raditz, before I go, there is something I want to tell you. And it's a big reason I want you to keep training and show me what you can do the next time I see you. You see, Raditz, I've learned how to sense power levels perfectly during my time on Earth. Way better than your old scouters could. And even though you're just a Super Saiyan, these past 20 years of being in hell, constantly training and managing in just your base and Super Saiyan forms this entire time has made you strong. Really strong. My base form even has absorbed God Ki to amplify it. But somehow, despite that, I can tell, as a Super Saiyan, you're actually a little stronger than both me and Vegeta when we're in that form too. Raditz instantly then responds shocked. Really? So all these years training non-stop down here wasn't a waste of time? I can't believe it. So I'm not really a weakling. Not a total failure. If I really reach those same transformations as Kakarot, I could surpass him. And Vegeta too. Well, of course I am. Naturally, that makes complete sense. I am your older brother after all. Training in literal hell for decades. What else could I expect? While you and Vegeta lollygaggled around, having families and enjoying that weak excuse for a planet Earth, while every second for me was a battle both mentally and physically. I had no choice but to become strong. If only I had known there were forms beyond Super Saiyan, I wouldn't have plateaued like this. But Goku then reassures him, well, don't be too disheartened, Raditz. Me and Vegeta have come to learn over the years that all our transformations are just multipliers of how strong we are in base. Finding the emotion and power inside to ascend to these new stages might be hard, but once you do, the fact you spent so much time perfecting and strengthening your base power level will be your greatest strength. I'm actually super excited to meet again, brother. It'll be an awesome fight for sure. Raditz just looks back a little perplexed at how much Kakarot wants to fight. Right, I understand. Anyway, Raditz, it was great seeing you again. Don't forget anything I said to you today, or the feeling you had watching me power up. Remember it and use it to motivate you. I'm gonna go now though. Chichi has probably gotten really worried. I'll see you soon. But as Goku places his two fingers on his forehead, ready to use instant transmission, a hand suddenly grabs his shoulder to stop him. Huh? Hold it right there, kid. It's been 30 years, and you want to leave as fast as you arrived, huh? Standing there behind Goku as he turns around is Bardock, the father of Goku. Of course, with Goku being completely oblivious to who he is. Bardock continues, stick around a little more. There's someone here who's been dying to meet you, Kakarot. Don't disappoint her. Goku then turns around and is only a little surprised, saying, whoa, it's another me. Wait, are you just Goku Black? You look a little different. Who gave you that scar on your face, Zamasu? Bardock just looks back confused at his idiotic son's comments. Goku who? Zama what? Just look behind me already, you fool. Goku listens to the mysterious man, and behind Bardock, standing innocently with tears in her eyes, is Gine, the mother of Goku. who finally, after all these years of waiting and longing to be reunited, can finally see Kakarot. She softly speaks, Kakarot, you've grown so big. I can't believe it's really you. I'm so glad you're still alive. A day hasn't gone by that I hadn't thought about you or Raditz. She walks closer to Goku and continues, you look so handsome. You really look just like Bardock. But I can tell you have my heart. Oh Kakarot, this has truly made me the happiest person in hell. But watching close by, finally recognizing himself the two figures, Raditz yells out, Mother! Father! It's you, isn't it? It's really you. How long has it been? You look just the way I remember you. Why did you not come sooner to find me? Are you here only for Kakarot? Bardock, however, sensing his son is getting the wrong idea, quickly corrects him. No, my son, that's not how it is at all. Raditz, we've been here the entire time. We died long before you. But hell is a massive place, and it's not limited to just Saiyans. It's for every single evil person who ever died since the beginning of time. Not to mention, for a long time, Gine and I didn't want to believe either of you died either. But many years ago, we'd heard rumors of a long-haired man with a tail being sighted, so we knew it had to be you. Every day for over 20 years now, we've been searching without rest, without even being able to sense any key, just to find you one day. Clearly, we were getting closer, as just by chance, we ended up close enough to see when Kakarot started that insane light show of transformations. We could feel and see it from miles away. We rushed here as fast as we could and watched as you two spoke, waiting for the right time to approach you both. Raditz looks back speechless, thinking to himself, wow, I never thought about it like that. I can't believe you two would go so far, just to see me again. Immediately while Raditz is deep in thought, Gine runs to hug Raditz, much to the confusion of Goku, who still remains completely oblivious to what's happening. Gine, however, using her mother's intuition as if she knows even what her sons are thinking, yells, Raditz, of course we would do all that just to see you again. You don't need to be shocked. It was never a hardship for us. Just the hope of seeing you again gave me energy each day for all these years to never give up and never stop looking for you. The fact we never heard anything about Kakarot either filled us with hope and happiness that maybe he'd survived. And I'm so glad it turned out true. I will always love you both so much. My two brilliant sons. Goku listens in and takes a few seconds to compute what's been said before suddenly realizing, wait a minute, mother, father, brilliant sons? Wait, are you guys my parents? Hearing just how comedically slow Goku is, Bardock smiles and comments, 30 years later, and you haven't changed that much at all, Kakarot. Still as much of a child as you were back then. Yes, we're your parents, you big fool. I would have hoped you guessed from just looking at me. We're practically twins. I don't know how you've forgotten us, but it's important you know why we sent you away and how it all went down. Gine's biggest fear always was that you would grow up to think that we abandoned you, but I'll put that to bed now with the truth. You see, Kakarot, when you were still a toddler, our people were put under the rule of a tyrant named Frieza. His power was insane. I don't know where he would be now, but I wouldn't put it past him to have similar powers to you. Our people were at his mercy, and one day he planned to destroy planet Vegeta, and I alone knew it was coming. I told your mother and told her the only way to save you was to send you off to another planet alone, undetected, so that you could survive while we faced Frieza. Your mother obviously was heartbroken. She loved you unconditionally, both of you, but you especially, Kakarot, as you were still a baby. With a heavy heart though, she knew the best she could do for you as a mother was agree to send you away. And so in the final hours of our time in the living world, we programmed coordinates to a weak planet, said our goodbyes through a Saiyan space pod, and watched you fly off to never be seen again. Your mother died, Kakarot, on planet Vegeta, still crying and mourning over you, while I died on the battlefield, battling in hope that I could somehow save all three of us so we could be reunited one day. But obviously, that plan never worked out. Upon the ending of Bardock's story, however, Gine runs and hugs Goku next. With tears still in her eyes, she looks up and says, "But it doesn't matter at all, because in the end, all we ever wanted was for you to survive and be happy. It hurts a bit that you forgot about us and never knew just how much we loved you, but you have no idea how great it feels to know you grew up so healthy and well, just like we hoped. I've waited so long for this moment to touch you again. I missed your whole childhood. I only wish we could all be alive and just be a family once again. But I suppose there's no point talking about the impossible, and you've made your mother so happy by coming down to see your brother and us anyway." She then rests her head on Goku's chest, continuing to weep, while Goku not only thinks on her words, but feels his heartstrings plucked by the situation. And after much contemplation, an idea finally comes to him. "Mom, Dad, there might be something I can do. On my planet, we have these special balls called the Dragon Balls. When you collect all 7, a dragon named Shenron appears, and with that, you are granted 3 wishes. Usually, this dragon's power is limited to reviving people who've died within a certain time frame, meaning it would normally be impossible to revive you guys. But we have a new guardian on Earth called Dende, and I'm sure he can make improvements. Give me some time, and with those 3 wishes, I can wish you all back to be with me again." What? Immediately, Bardock and Gine are shocked. This is the first time they've heard of such a phenomenon and are completely taken aback. Bardock questions further in response, "You've got to be kidding! Power like that really exists? This seems like a big deal. The power to wish for anything. Are you sure about this, Kakarot? Is there nothing else you'd rather wish for yourself? If these are your only 3 wishes you have, you don't need to waste them on us. Just knowing you're still alive is enough for us, son." Goku replies, however, "No, I'm sure. The Dragon Balls can be found at any time, and we can make as many wishes as we need. I never wished for you guys back before, because honestly I never knew you existed. I bumped my head when I was younger and must have forgotten all about you as a result. But it doesn't mean that it has to stay like that forever. I need to go back now and sort things out. But you can count on me. I'll revive you guys as soon as I've got the Dragon Balls." And with that, Goku then instantly teleports back to Earth after a brief goodbye. Eventually, Goku arrives at Kami's lookout and he immediately greets Dende and Mr. Popo. "Yo, Dende! It's been a while, but I have a request about the limits of the Dragon Balls." He then proceeds to explain everything that just happened in Hell with Raditz, Bardock and Gine, and how he wants to wish them back. Surprisingly, Dende's not too concerned and is happy to help Goku fulfill his wish. He lets him know, "You're right, Goku. With the Dragon Balls as they are, we can't normally revive anyone who's been dead for over a year. But since my recent training and trips to Namek, I've been working on a newer set that are inching closer to the power of even the Super Dragon Balls. With these, you should be able to revive anyone, no matter how long they've been dead. You could even revive your grandfather if you really wanted. Just give me a week and we'll all be ready." Goku is overjoyed and replies, "My grandfather, huh? But that's awesome, Dende. I knew I could rely on you. You've become an amazing guardian of the Earth. I'll be back in 1 week then. See you soon." And with that, Goku leaves finally to be with Chichi. 1 week then does eventually pass, and all 7 Dragon Balls are gathered and Shenron is summoned in a great beam of light. And immediately the mythical dragon then requests,
I am Shenron. Name your wishes.
Goku then momentarily thinks about whether what he's doing is right, and then, with confidence replies, Shenron, I wish for my father, mother, and brother all to be brought back to life on Earth. And after a brief pause, Shenron proclaims,
Your wish shall be granted.
And as Shenron leaves, emerging from the light right in front of Goku is Raditz, Gine, and Bardock. All 3 finally alive, finally together, and finally reunited with Goku as a family once more. Goku looks back with a smile, thinking to himself about the new life and adventures that await him now that his old family is finally back in the picture. He says to himself, man, I really do hope Chichi has enough room at the dinner table tonight. Our story continues following Goku's wish to bring back Raditz along with his parents Gine and Bardock. Raditz and Bardock look around pleased, observing their surroundings, while Gine is overjoyed and wide-eyed as she takes in the beautiful views of Kami's lookout, noting, wow, so this is Earth! It's so pretty, so fancy. From afar, Goku waves at them to get their attention. Yo guys, over here! Told you I'd come through. Welcome to Earth. And immediately on hearing this, Gine runs and grabs her son for a hug, shouting, Kakarot, you did it! I love you, son! While Bardock and Raditz then walk over as well, both smiling at the scene. Bardock then thinks to himself while looking on at Gine finally with her baby boy, Kakarot, you done good, my boy. I'm proud. Raditz, however, approaches, having already done enough introductions with Goku, and gets to the point asking, So, Kakarot, what have you got planned for us now? Where do we go from here? Goku for a minute just takes a moment to think on what Raditz has just asked, while Gine looks on eagerly from behind, before he places his hand on his head and says, Well, I'm not too sure actually. It's getting close to dinner time though, so we should probably eat. But I haven't told Chichi yet that we're going to have quite so many guests. Gine, however, is momentarily confused and asks Goku, Huh? Chichi? Who's that, Kakarot? Is my son rich enough to have a personal butler? Goku then replies, Oh, I haven't told you about Chichi yet. Yeah, she's not my butler, she's my wife, and mother of my 2 sons. What? Immediately both Bardock and Gine are stood completely shocked at Goku's revelation, with Bardock continuing, Kakarot? I didn't know you had a wife and a family already! Gine's face then slowly turns into a smile as she realizes, Oh gosh, this means I have a daughter-in-law. I can't wait to meet her and see what kind of person she is. Before she then thinks on the fact Goku already has children and says, Oh wait, so that means I'm already a grandma at my age. How lovely. Meanwhile, Bardock breaks out laughing, congratulating Goku saying, Attaboy, that's my son. When you look just like me, how could you not have a woman by now? Right, son? Raditz, who by this point is a little jealous and slightly annoyed over all the attention on Goku, then says, Alright, enough with this! I'm starving. Let's get going for this dinner you speak of, Kakarot. Now! Goku, who can sense Raditz's childish jealousy, then smiles and places his 2 fingers on his head saying, Haha, love you too, Raditz. Alright, everyone grab onto me. I'll get us home in a flash. Before Goku then uses his instant transmission and the whole family of Saiyans arrive at the home of Goku, a little bewildered by their instantaneous trip. Kakarot? What the hell was that? The group then walk towards Goku's home while Goku yells, "Chichi, I'm home! Don't be mad, but I might have brought some guests." While Gine falls behind slightly as again she is enamored by the surroundings of Kakarot's beautiful home. Goku walks through the door and continues, "Hey Chichi, is dinner ready yet?" Chichi hears and recognizes Goku's voice and turns around, but her mood quickly shifts. Huh? Goku? Where the hell have you been? You're an hour late for dinner. Goten had to catch tonight's fish without you. He's only a little boy. You know I don't like him doing your jobs. But soon enough, she then realizes there are 3 other figures behind Goku and says, "Huh? Goku? Who are these people? I told you to stop bringing random strangers you see back home with you." Gine, however, is overjoyed and runs over to immediately grab Chi-Chi's hands, remarking, "Wow, so you're the woman who tamed my Kakarot. You're so beautiful. I can completely see why my son would pick you." Chichi at this point, though flattered, looks back confused at this stranger holding her hands, who just said something very strange. She responds, "Son?" And Gine, still so happy to meet the wife of Kakarot, smiles back saying, "Yes, I'm his mother. My name is Gine. It's so nice to meet you. Over there is Bardock, Kakarot's father, and over there is Raditz, Kakarot's brother." Chichi then looks at Bardock, who walks over with a smirk and comments, "Goku's father? Wow, he really does look just like him. No, he might even be a little more handsome than Goku." Before suddenly Chichi hugs Gine back, now happy, saying, "Well, for as long as I've been married, I've always hoped one day I could see Goku's parents. I thought it would be sooner than this, but I'm glad it's finally happened. I can't wait to get to know my new family." Goku, of course, lets off a sigh, knowing the meeting didn't go as badly as he thought it might, confusing Bardock, who doesn't quite understand why Goku was scared of Chichi. Chichi then leads Gine away and says, "Here, come this way, Gine. You can help me in the kitchen with dinner. We have so much to talk about," before the two head off, carefully being watched by a smiling Goku. Meanwhile, Goku looks at Bardock and Raditz and says, "Well, that went down better than I thought. We should probably go sit down and eat now. Here, have a seat." And the two nod back at him. Goku, while standing, then addresses the two and says, "Great, so this is going to be our first family meal. I can't wait to see what Mum and Chichi cook up. I wonder what Goten caught. Goten!" And after Goku calls for his youngest son, Goten comes down the stairs and immediately encounters Bardock, who looks back at the child, both reacting the same. Huh? Immediately, both grab onto each other's hair, recognizing this feature as the same on both of them, as they stare into each other's eyes, still in idiotic confusion. They both think to themselves, "Wait a minute," before immediately they both point at each other in shock, shouting, "Wait, who are you?" With Goten yelling, "Dad, is that you?" And Bardock yelling, "Mini Kakarot, is that you?" Raditz watches on at the comedic situation and awkwardly says, "Idiots. Clearly this must be Kakarot's second son." Meanwhile, Bardock grabs Goten to pick him up, which initially alarms Goten, who says, "Dad, what are you doing? And why are you dressed like that?" Bardock, now holding Goten in the air just like he used to do with Kakarot as a child, smiles and says, "I'm not your dad, kid, but it seems obvious now you're Kakarot's brat. Looks like even half-breeds look just like Saiyans. My name is Bardock, and I'm your grandpa." Immediately, Goten's face lights up in excitement as he says, "Wow, really? I never knew I had another grandpa. Awesome! You look just like my dad. Are you as strong as him too? And Bardock, not willing to kill the young child's enthusiasm, replies, I'm even stronger. I taught him everything he knows. And Goten responds, wow, you're kidding. Let's spar, Grandpa. I need to see this. Dad never has time to train with me. Bardock then sits down ready for his dinner, obviously underestimating Goten, and replies, sure kid, but first we eat. Let's go sit down for your mother's meal, and we can go a few rounds after. Which Goten then enthusiastically replies to, awesome! I can't wait, Grandpa! Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, Gine and Chichi are talking and finally getting to know one another after all these years apart. And Chichi asks Gine, I feel so bad that it's taken this long for Goku to revive you guys. If I had known, I would have made him do it sooner. It's all so sudden. I wonder what made him finally do it now. Gine then explains away, saying, well, apparently Kakarot forgot about us as a child. He was dropped at some point and lost all his memory of his Saiyan past. It's taken him all these years to be reminded about his brother. So when he first visited Raditz in Hell, that was when Bardock and I met him too. Soon Gine then realizes something and continues, wait, so if you didn't know about Kakarot's fall, you must have met him later on, right? She then blushes and asks, tell me, Chichi, how exactly did you and my son first meet and fall for each other? I've always loved to hear love stories. Fill me in with everything that happened, my new daughter-in-law. Chichi is understandably caught off guard, but then eventually begins explaining the entire story of her journey with Goku, from their first meeting as children, their fight at the World Martial Arts Tournament, their wedding day, and of course, the moment they had their first child, Gohan. Gine, on hearing this, cannot help but tear up, thinking to herself, I can't believe I missed all of these things happening, but I'm so glad Kakarot found love. Chichi seems like a match made in heaven. She then turns to Chichi and says out loud, oh Chichi, that was such a beautiful story. You two were made for each other. You two have been together so long and had two beautiful sons, just like Bardock and I did. Just one thing I'm wondering is, how was Kakarot as a father? Was he a good dad? Chichi then thinks for a moment and replies a little awkwardly, yeah, a good father, definitely for Gohan, for the most part. Just, there was that one time he kind of didn't meet his son Goten for 7 years and left me to be pregnant and give birth by myself. But other than that, yeah, great dad. Immediately, Gine's face drops as she realizes how familiar this story is compared to her own experience with Bardock, who rarely was home and would often leave her at home for years, battling with his squad. Finally saying, oh, I see. An absentee father who left his children to his wife. I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, does it, Bardock? Eventually, after some time, Chichi and Gine finish cooking, and immediately the entire Saiyan clan that has been seated erupts into a monstrous feast. 5 hungry Saiyans stacking plates while Chichi looks on completely bemused, muttering, help yourselves. Eventually, after a few hours, the whole table is cleared. The meal is over and all the Saiyans are completely full. Goku comments while looking at his father, phew, that was a great meal. I'm absolutely stuffed. While Bardock with a smile responds, you got that right. You picked a fine woman, Kakarot. She knows how to cook for a Saiyan, I can tell you that much. Chichi, hearing this, giggles with a blush. Suddenly, the door to the house opens and we see that Gohan has arrived home with a bag and a smile. He shouts out to Chichi, hey Mom, I brought the groceries you wanted. Sorry I'm late. Videl needed... Huh? But before he can finish his sentence, he notices the 3 strange new figures at the table, before immediately recognizing the long hair and face of Raditz. Anger erupts across Gohan's face as he remembers the traumatic childhood kidnapping he suffered at Raditz's hands, trapped in a space pod and forced to watch as his father was completely beaten down. He mutters in anger, "You monster! I won't ever forgive you!" before rushing in immediately to attack, screaming, "Raditz!" leaving Raditz to look on with surprise, and the rest of the family completely shocked but unable to do anything in the extreme speed and instant of Gohan's attack. But before anything can happen, shockingly Bardock intervenes, grabbing Gohan's fist and protecting his son Raditz. He looks into Gohan's eyes and says, "Calm it down, kid. The dinner table is no place to fight, and family shouldn't be fighting." Gohan, still enraged, then looks back and yells, "What? Family? Who the hell are you?" Bardock, with a calm and unimpressed face, replies, "It's a long story, but I'm Bardock. I'm your grandpa. I can explain later, but from what I can see, you and Raditz have something to talk about first. Take it outside. You wouldn't want to ruin your mother's lovely house, would you, kid?" On hearing all the commotion, Raditz then quietly gets up from the table, causing Bardock and Gohan to be slightly alarmed. "Huh? Raditz, what are you doing?" He then walks past Gohan and says, "You said take it outside, right, father? Well, let's do just that. Alright, come on, kid. Feel free to let it all out in the open. Follow me." And with an angry face and his fists clenched, ready to put Raditz to sleep, Gohan follows Raditz carefully, watching his every move, muttering under his breath, "Today's the day. The day I make you pay for everything you did to me as a child." While Raditz thinks in his own mind, "Today is the day. The day you finally learn the truth." So our story begins with an enraged Gohan following Raditz out the door, and they eventually make their way outside, with Raditz facing Gohan just outside Goku and Chichi's household. With him staring his uncle in the eye, Gohan begins sternly, "So, what exactly do you have to say for yourself, Raditz? What's this truth of yours that you think will stop me from destroying you right here and now? You're lucky I'm even giving you a chance to speak." Raditz, meanwhile, smirks for a second with his eyes closed and thinks, "I've been alive for less than 24 hours and already the sins of my past are going to send me right back to hell. Just my luck. The kid has grown to be damn near my age too. He's unrecognizable. Just why did I have to be involved in this storyline, Arj?" Raditz then looks at Gohan seriously and says, "I haven't brought you out here to fight, dear nephew. I've come only to talk. Whatever I was then is not who I am now, and I can see you too have changed. If you've come to talk, spit it out. I'm no nephew of yours, so don't call me that again. The minute you finish saying your last words, your last attempt at justifying your sick actions, that is when I'll get my revenge, Raditz. I'll never allow someone like you to be around my family again." Raditz, understanding Gohan's rage, but trying his best to calm him down, finally begins to tell his story. "Listen, Kakarot's son, Gohan, I'm not here to try and justify what I did. I've been dead for a long time now, and in that time, I've had plenty of time to think about not just what I did to you, but about all the things I did while I was alive to deserve me ending up in hell. I've been in that place, in the darkness, surrounded by monsters for over 20 years now. Most of it alone. They say hell is supposed to be fire, pain, and your worst fears. But true hell is being left with nothing but your own thoughts, left to deal with the results of your own mistakes with no hope of ever making it right. Until now. Gohan, what I did to you, my own flesh and blood, was unforgivable. I will never say anything otherwise to that. Taking you away from your father and leaving you trapped and starving in my space pod was something no child should have suffered, let alone one related to me. But you need to understand why. Why I did it and how I became like that. However, immediately after being reminded of what Raditz did, his words fall short as Gohan screams in anger, "I don't care why you did it! This isn't a confessional! I know what you did and there's nothing to understand! I'm only letting you say your final words before you die!" Immediately transforming into a Super Saiyan 2 as he yells. In fact, let's cut the small talk. It's clear nothing you're saying or about to say is going to make me change my mind. While you carried on in hell, you forgot to realize that I carried on living a mental hell until this very day. The scars of what you did to me back then have stayed all the way till now. I used to be a confident kid, but ever since that moment, I've been scared in every battle. And even now with my own child, I live every day afraid that another monster like you could turn up and kidnap her. Raditz, you don't belong here anymore! Huh? What's going on? Meanwhile, Goku and Bardock inside sense the power of Gohan and his transformation and are alarmed straight away. Goku looks back at Bardock and says, "I don't know. But this key, I think it's Gohan's. We better go check this out." And Bardock nods back. The father and son then burst open through the door and Goku yells, "Hey! What's going on out here? I thought you guys were just going to talk." Before suddenly Goku realizes Gohan has transformed into a Super Saiyan 2 and yells, "Gohan! Stop this! It's not worth it, son! Calm down!" Goku then attempts to intervene and moves towards Gohan, but Bardock immediately places his arm in front of Goku and tells his confused son, "Stop, Kakarot. Just wait and watch. These two are Saiyans at the end of the day. When two adult Saiyans have a problem, it's no business to anyone else to get involved. That could be not only dangerous, but also just make things worse. The young Gohan here is clearly looking for some form of closure, and Raditz can handle himself. Give them the chance to sort this out themselves. What will be, will be. That is the Saiyan way." The scene then shifts back to Gohan, standing confidently in his powered-up enraged form, repeating, "Just give it up, Raditz. It's over now. Leave this planet and never come back, or I'll make sure of it myself." Raditz, however, just looks at Gohan in his transformation and at first is in complete shock, before he smiles proudly and says, "You really have grown up. You became so strong and powerful. Way stronger than me or Kakarot at your age. I can't believe I missed all of that. But I guess it's my own stupid fault, huh?" Raditz's face then changes back to serious once again, however, and he says, "Listen, Gohan, I'm going to say my piece. I will tell you the truth about me and why I did what I did. And if you let me finish and hear me out, and if you still don't care or still feel that rage in your heart, you can go ahead and send me to the next dimension." He then continues, Gohan, I am the older brother of your father Kakarot, but unlike your father, I lived on planet Vegeta, and during my entire life experienced the reign of the tyrant Frieza. As all Saiyans, I served from birth under his and King Vegeta's orders to capture planets and annihilate its inhabitants, whether I liked it or not. Children are not born evil, no matter the planet. But from the moment I could walk, I was expected to kill innocents or face execution as a traitor. Experiencing that while you're young has more of a lasting effect than you can imagine, from simply being trapped in a space pod. And to make matters worse, I was then assigned to the squad of Prince Vegeta, the son of our king. Vegeta was ruthless from the day he was born. He barely even flinched when he learned planet Vegeta was destroyed. Like Frieza, he overpowered me completely, both in rank and sheer physical strength. Every day I was alive, I lived in fear of instantly being annihilated by him, and as expected, every day I followed his orders to a T or risked losing my own life. Killing people, pillaging the poor, and enslaving the weak. I did things that I didn't necessarily want to do, Gohan. And one day, Vegeta and Nappa remembered I had a brother named Kakarot, who father and mother had sent off to Earth. They ordered me to go and retrieve him at all and any cost, or have them do it instead. At which point, more than certainly, Kakarot and the Earth would have been destroyed at the first hint of disobedience. So of course, I went by myself in hopes I could convince Kakarot and save his life at the very least. And finally, when I eventually saw Kakarot as a grown man for the first time, and he refused my offer that would ultimately save his and your lives, I did whatever I could to get him to come peacefully without having to kill anyone. And I took you for that reason, as I knew it'd be just as bad as killing one of his friends, like that boulder I kicked, but at least only temporary. In the end, what I'm trying to say is, I had little choice, Gohan. It was either me doing whatever it took to bring Kakarot back with me, or I would die to Vegeta's hand, and he would arrive anyway and annihilate Kakarot and you, along with everyone else on this planet. I did everything I could to maybe just convince Kakarot and avoid any unnecessary deaths just this one time. But obviously, things didn't turn out the way I hoped. Through some miracle, I'm guessing Kakarot and you Earthlings were able to defeat Vegeta and Nappa. But at the time, you must understand, that seemed like an impossibility. Kakarot could barely defeat me, and that was with the help of that Namekian. To be weaker than me, and yet still defeat Nappa and Vegeta, who were many times stronger than I was, I still can't believe it happened to this day. But I am sorry for everything, Gohan. I tried to do what was best for everyone, but it doesn't make what I did to you right. Gohan, however, still with a cold face and covered in electricity, still as a Super Saiyan 2, just stares back silently and emotionless, before finally saying ominously, "Thanks for the sob story, but I've heard enough to make my decision now." And immediately then goes into an iconically familiar position as he begins, as the surrounding area begins to crumble and produce debris. As Raditz feels the ground rise from the power of Gohan, he's initially shocked, looking at Gohan's reply, but eventually then closes his eyes, smiles, and accepts his fate, saying, "Well, being alive again was good while it lasted, but I guess this is what I deserve. It was nice seeing you again, Kakarot, but I'm glad Gohan is the one to send me back to the next dimension this time. Better him than a silly green man at least. Gohan meanwhile continues powering up his Kamehameha, yelling, "Ah!" while Raditz closes his eyes even tighter and thinks in his mind, "That's the way, Gohan. A true Saiyan. Give it your all. Hopefully, this will be painless." Meanwhile, Goku watches on in shock, still being stopped by Bardock, trying one last time, yelling, "Gohan! Stop!" Before Gohan finally unleashes his full power Kamehameha wave. Immediately, Raditz is positively dwarfed by Gohan's blast, and before Raditz can even think, he yells, No! But from behind, Gohan suddenly flicks his finger up. And instantly, Gohan's Kamehameha wave changes trajectory, following his finger and point blank missing the scared Raditz, who has closed his eyes, expecting death. Eventually, Raditz opens one eye slightly when he realizes he'd felt no impact, muttering, Am I dead again? Where am I? Huh? Wait a minute. My body's still physically here. I'm still on Earth. What's going on? Before eventually Raditz notices Gohan is right next to him now, who then extends a hand towards his uncle. Raditz quietly says with confusion, Gohan, what's the meaning of this? To which Gohan replies with a smile, There's no reason to be afraid. I told you I made my decision, Raditz. I understand now what life was like for you. You went through things that I could never relate to. Things that I accept were much worse than what you did to me. And because of that, I can understand and see now you were only a product of your environment, and not a monster born like that. Yet even with all this, I can sense in your words you truly did care about who you hurt and had a conscience. And that's enough for me. I can really see now that you are just like Dad in many ways. I want to say, I forgive you, Uncle. Raditz is utterly shocked at this monologue from Gohan, and tears as a result begin to uncontrollably run down the face of the once stone-cold Saiyan, as he mutters, Gohan! All these years, I dreamt of a moment like this! Before he then suddenly grabs Gohan to hug him. Gohan, of course, at first is a little surprised and alarmed seeing the once evil Saiyan show his softer side, but then eventually realizes the genuine feelings his uncle has, and so smiles and hugs back. Meanwhile, Goku and Bardock look on with a smile, with Bardock commenting, See, son, I told you it would all work out. Sometimes it's best to let two Saiyans talk out their problems. And Goku responding says, Yeah, you were right actually. I'm just not too sure this is how it would go with Vegeta though. Some time then passes eventually and the whole Saiyan family is now in the living room relaxing, laughing and chatting away, with Goku with his wife and mother, while Raditz looks puzzlingly into Gohan's phone as he shows him pictures of his wife Videl and their baby girl, Pan. Meanwhile, Goten then walks up to Bardock and asks, Hey Grandpa, dinner's over now. So, can we have that spa you promised? I've been really looking forward to it. Bardock smirks and says, You're a persistent little brat, aren't you? You're a true Saiyan, dying for a battle. Alright, give me a moment and we'll go. After some time, as promised, Bardock and Goten then walk outside, and Goten begins stretching his legs saying, "Ooh, this is gonna be so much fun! If you're really as strong as Dad though, just hold back a little, okay? I'm playing with Trunks after this." And Bardock just stands smiling with his arms folded, clearly underestimating his young grandson, saying, "No problem, kid. Just do your best, and I'll lower my power level to be in tune with yours. Then maybe, just maybe, I could have a little fun then." Following this, Goten then gets into fighting stance and says, "Okay, Grandpa, whatever you say, I'm not holding back." And Bardock remains with his arms folded, responding, "Just get on with it, mini Kakarot, will you?" And instantly, right before Bardock, Goten appears at super speed, much to the surprise of Bardock. "Huh? He's fast! Yeah!" And immediately, Goten then proceeds to roundhouse kick Bardock. Bardock blocks, but then realizes the impact was so hard, even his bones are left still vibrating from the impact, remarking, "What the hell is going on here? This brat hits like a truck! All this time in hell away from fighting must have made me lose my touch. Pathetic. This brat's gonna..." But before Bardock can even finish his sentence, Goten goes in on the offense once again. With Bardock dodging as best as he can, before Goten finally lands. Sending Bardock instantly flying into a nearby mountain. Now enraged from the embarrassment, Bardock explodes from the rubble yelling, "Why you? Come here, brat!" And immediately rushes in towards Goten, continuing, "Playtime's over now, Goten!" Before chasing him all over the battlefield, with the speedy Goten dodging each attack with ease and laughter. Ultimately, until Goten once again kicks Bardock. "Take this, Grandpa!" Again, Bardock is sent crash landing before his grandson, but this time gets up almost immediately again, angered, muttering, "This is ridiculous! How is he this strong? This power is unnatural." But before he can think much longer, Goten rushes in this time with a smile proclaiming, "Alright, Grandpa, get ready! I'm winning this match now!" To which Bardock mysteriously then smiles as he thinks to himself, "He may be strong, but only with age does real combat experience come. Come at me, kid!" And immediately as Goten arrives, Bardock grabs onto his arm and wraps his own around the neck of Goten, leaving Goten now trapped in a chokehold and unable to do anything to escape due to his small size. He yells, "Ouch, Grandpa! What are you doing? No fair! Let go!" But Bardock with a smirk says, "No fair? All's fair in love and war, kid. I told you. I taught Kakarot everything he knows, didn't I? This wasn't going to be that easy." And Goten with a then disappointed face then replies, "Fine, I'll just go super then. Mom is gonna hate it though." And then suddenly, as a bright light appears to shine against Bardock in a confused state, he responds, "Huh? Super?" Leading to Goten immediately becoming a Super Saiyan and breaking out of Bardock's hold as if he wasn't even there. Goten then flies into the air as Bardock lays on the ground, as he says to his grandpa, "Told you I'd go super. So, should we carry on? You should go super too, Grandpa." Bardock, however, is left open-mouthed in awe as he slowly mutters, "How? A Super Saiyan at your age? What the hell are they feeding you kids on this planet?" But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Uncle Raditz in the comments down below and let me know if you want a part 5 to this story. Since, as you know, this is my manga, written and created by myself and team, and if you want to support my work and get this entire manga, as well as 250 plus others, you can do so on my Patreon for $3 a month. Less than a Starbucks coffee, and you get an insane collection to read instantly. But if you want to see more of my signature style of content, just click on one of these 2 videos on the right now. Until next video, guys, cheers.